In a recent interview I've done with a YouTube channel titled Coffee Comics, I was asked to elaborate on my hope for the future when it comes to Japanese content and their refusal to allow Western infiltration to impose their influence on how they choose to create things. And examples I gave were Square Enix deciding to fire their Western departments, deciding to build from the ground up, the Vinland Saga editor refusing political correctness abroad, emphasizing the importance of maintaining Japanese identity, the Naruto studio president doing the same, realizing political correctness will destroy the very reason people gravitated to their works in the first place. And all of this makes me say, yes, they get it, based. Keep this mentality and it will lead to continued prosperity. Then once in a while you'll get a Japanese creator saying they're choosing to go the opposite direction of these creators I've just mentioned, having my hope being played like a tennis ball getting hit back and forth, never consistently going in one direction. And one example of that is this headline. Final Fantasy Rebirth director says Japanese devs now create with a global audience mind from the very start. Confirms game subjected to thorough ethical reviews tailored to different regions. Headlines like these make me ask, are you not paying attention to the overall landscape of Eastern versus Western entertainment and why the East, especially Japan, is winning? Now, I'm not even a Final Fantasy hardcore fan. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake years ago on stream, but me and my brother grew up with Nintendo and Sega mainly, but this speaks to a meta point of Japanese content overall, because the same is happening with a Japanese exec working with Disney aiming to make anime appeal to a wider audience. And it's like they don't see why they're beating out everyone else already. Whether it's anime beating out American cartoons and really cinema in general, manga beating out American comics, and video games doing the same. And I would think they have their finger on the pulse of why they're winning, but it seems some just don't, and it's a huge letdown. And this will be just good faith criticism, no ill will wish towards them. I just hope they would be able to read the room in today's climate, so I'll address some points in this article that are red flags. According to Final Fantasy Rebirth director Naoki Hamaguchi, the evolution of video games from a niche hobby into a worldwide industry has resulted in Japanese developers shifting their design priorities away from the sensibilities of their local markets and towards those of the larger global audience. This is where the saying comes into play, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's almost like a natural law that occurs when people start succeeding in a huge way. They drop all the methods that got them to where they are in the first place, thinking they need to switch up everything. You're already appealing to a global audience without the attempt to appeal to a global audience. And I can just foresee the initial changes being made. Tifa gets the breast reduction even further. Maybe A cups this time. Probably will get the Western crimson chin jawline treatment. Aerith, strip away her graceful femininity. Beautiful women are just way too offensive. Remember, beautiful women in video games are violent against women. When asked, what factors do you consider when designing a game for a wide global audience? He responds, there are so many elements that go into game development, from the story to every little detail in the game's presentation. We conduct thorough ethical reviews, tailored to different regions, taking the time and resources to ensure our work doesn't become a source of negativity for anyone is essential in today's world. AKA, we're going to put our creativity through the meat grinder of countless politically correct filters, and what comes out on the other end is completely unrecognizable from what fans actually want. We will make our games appeal to everyone, but what they don't know is when you aim and please to make something for everyone, you actually make nothing for anyone. Back when the original Final Fantasy was released, it was primarily created for the Japanese market, and its global reach expanded as it gained recognition. It's like he's saying the golden point out loud, but failing to realize or acknowledge it as he's saying it. By making games for a Japanese audience, that appealed to people around the world to want to dive into the uniqueness of that. That's why cultural identity is so significant to Japanese creativity and why it's successful. But today, rather than first prioritizing the Japanese market and letting the game's reach grow organically, we now create with a global audience in mind from the very start. In that sense, we are in a completely different era. A part of me makes me feel like I'm being trolled a bit. He mentions the winning formula, but instead of choosing to implement it, he's going in the opposite direction. And when he mentions during a different era, yes, you are. You're in an era where Japan is taking over entertainment as a whole, but you're not seeing the practices that got you there and all of the mistakes the West has made, leaving a void that you all have filled. As Japanese creators, we naturally developed the game in Japanese first before translating it into other languages. During localization, oh boy, we sometimes adjust phrasing to better fit different cultural contexts. I don't know, maybe he's not aware, but of the corruption in that department, but I'll continue. However, this is a delicate process. Players who have a deep respect and strong feelings for the original work often notice even the slightest differences between the Japanese and translated versions and ask why certain changes were made. It's a challenge we constantly navigate in game creation. I don't get it, man. The fans are telling you what they want, the Japanese versions, rather than the watered down catering to our supposed sensibilities version. And it makes me ask, who are you communicating with? What they're telling you obviously goes against the fan sentiment, and it makes you put the conspiracy hat on. Are you intentionally being fed bad information which will cause the inevitable downfall of your own success, built up from decades but will collapse overnight? This is why paying attention and staying vigilant is so important, especially today. To this end, when later asked if he had advice for fledgling video game designers, Hamaguchi asserted, "I strongly encourage them to step out into the world and continue generating new ideas. It's important not to limit your perspective to the values or market of your own country. Maintaining a broad perspective will become even more crucial for creativity in the generations to come. While it's ideal to travel and experience the world firsthand, we are fortunate to live in an era where content and entertainment are easily accessible. These are countless opportunities to broaden your perspective and absorb new ideas. Always set your sights on competing on a global stage, and I hope that together we can contribute to the growth and expansion of Japan's entertainment worldwide." I don't know, man. This sounds like a politician speaking, like a prepared speech or something. You know why I like Yoko Taro, creator of Nier Automata? When asked why 2B wears high heels, he simply says, "I just really like girls." That makes me laugh, and it makes me want to play the game even more or again. Matter of fact, I might do a live stream this weekend of getting the 2B outfit in Stellar Blade. I still have never done that, even though I beat the game twice. But you see the differences in responses, and I think that gives us a huge glimpse into the mind of these people creating these products. Having fun with it, being funny, understanding your base. Forget all the politically correct nonsense of being scared to offend. Realize the Japanese cultural identity is what makes it appealing. And though I've only played one Final Fantasy game, I still understand and recognize the cultural widespread significance of that franchise, and I would hate to see it deteriorate over time due to activist-minded practices that many other properties have fallen to. I've damn near given up on the Western market and was hoping the Japanese market was bulletproof, but I'll suggest just please don't let the fans down. I'm sure they will highly appreciate it. But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you agree with my assessment on this topic? Do you see this as a bad move on their part, preferring they stick to their original creative process rather than this new one? Let me know, I'm curious. If you haven't already, check out my music on Spotify, link in the description. If you love those Samurai Champloo lo-fi mellow boom bap vibes, then my music is definitely for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think. Peace.